Well, hello, students. Today I want to talk to you about part 6 of the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. When we left part 5, we had the mariner's circumstances looking up. He's gone from dire circumstances to a circumstance where a spirit is beneath the ship, 9 fathoms deep, over 50 feet deep, moving the ship along, and or about to move the ship along, and you hear two spirits speaking, and one says, "Isn't this the guy who killed that bird?" He says, "By the one who died on the cross. Do you know this guy's the one who killed that bird?" And the other spirit says, "Yeah." And this spirit is described as the spirit who loves the man who killed the bird. He says, "Yeah, but he's done penance. He's sorry. He'll do some more penance. It's time that he stop paying for this crime." Did he do wrong? Yes. Did he seek forgiveness? Yes. Does he have forgiveness? Yes. Yes, he has forgiveness. So we go on to part 6, and we have, again, we're still with these two voices. And the first voice says, "But tell me, speak again, thy soft response renewing, what makes that ship drive on so fast? What is the ocean doing?" Well, obviously the ocean is doing nothing. This is a supernatural happening. The ship shook a little bit, and then it was like a horse pawing, and then it jumped, and it's going so quickly through the water. The second voice, "Still as a slave before his lord, the ocean hath no blast. His great bright eye most silently up to the moon is cast. If he may know which way to go, for she glides him smooth or grim. See, brother, see, how graciously she looketh down on him. The moon looketh down graciously at the mariner." But it's not the ocean looks down graciously at the ocean, and the moon shows the way, but it's not causing the currents to move. It's the spirit. The spirit is causing the currents, causing the ship to move. The currents aren't moving at all. First voice, "But why drives on that ship so fast without a wave or wind?" Second voice, "The air is cut away before and closes from behind. The ship is moving so quickly, we would call it cutting through the air." Now, we're used to this. We have electric motors, but this is an unusual event. You would need to have a fast wind, a good current to be traveling quickly, and yet the ship is traveling even more quickly than it would if it had current and a fast wind. It's going supernaturally fast. "Fly, brother, fly, more high, or shall we be belated? For slow and slow that ship will go when the mariner's trace is abated." The mariner is in a little bit of a trance. And the two voices say, Go quickly before he comes out of his trance. Don't be late. Go fast." And they do. That ship goes so quickly. And now we have the mariner back telling his story. "And I awoke, and we were sailing on as in a gentle weather. 'Twas night, calm night, the moon was high. The dead men stood together." So he awakes to a calm sky, a calm ocean, and all the corpses standing together on deck. And it would have to be frightening. "All stood together on the deck for a charnel dudgeon fitter. All fixed on me their stony eyes that in the moon did glitter. Charnel dungeon, where we take our dead bodies. So we would call it a mortuary, or we would more appropriately take our dead bodies to a mortuary. And he said these corpses would be, these sailors would better be, or more appropriately be, where you would keep dead people. But no, they're not where we keep dead people. They're here on this ship, on the ship's deck, and the moon is glittering down on them and shining against their eyes. So they're dead, they're standing, and their eyes are glittering. They're glittering. Ooh, yeah. The pang, the curse with which they died, had never passed away. I could not draw my eyes from theirs, nor turn them up to pray. They're looking at me and I'm looking back. I can't even look away to pray. They're still cursing me. And now the spell was snapped. Once more I viewed the ocean green and looked far forth, yet little saw of what had else been seen. But then I'm able to look away. And so I look over at the ocean. I don't want to look back over there at them. They're scary. Little one that on a lonesome road doth walk in fear and dread, and having once turned round walks on, and turns no more his head, because he knows a frightful fiend doth close behind him tread. I'm looking away at the ocean, and I don't want to look back over there. There's a monster. There's a fiend. I'm just going to stare at the ocean. I'm going to do. But soon there breathed a wind on me, nor sound nor motion made. Its path was not upon the sea, in ripple or in shade. But then I'm looking at the ocean and this wind. It comes, it's wind blowing in my face. But I notice, oh no, there's a wind blowing in my face, but there's not a ripple on the ocean. This is not a natural wind. This is a supernatural wind. It raised my hair. It fanned my cheek like a meadow gale of spring. It mingled strangely with my fears, yet it felt like a welcoming. So I'm afraid of this wind because it's not natural. But on the other hand, I kind of like it. It feels like home. It feels welcoming. Swiftly, swiftly flew the ship, yet she sailed softly too. Sweetly, sweetly blew the breeze. On me alone it blew. That's a supernatural breeze that's blowing on one person. And the ship is still, it's moving on waters that don't move. It's sailing quietly, quickly over the water. Oh, dream of joy! Is this indeed the lighthouse top I see? Is this the hill? Is this the kirk? Is this mine own country? So the ship is sailing quickly, supernaturally quickly. And the mariner looks at, oh, look. That's my lighthouse. I think, look, that's the church. That's my church. That's my church. I think this is my home. I think this wind has brought me home. We drifted o'er the harbor bar, and I with sobs did pray, oh, let me be awake, my God. Oh, let me sleep always. So they come out of the ocean proper and into the bay. Now, there's just so far you can go. If you're on a big ship, you can't come all the way up to the sand. It'll rip the bottom right out of your big ship. But they come up to the bar, to as far as they can go, and into the harbor area. So it's got kind of land on both sides. It's kind of like a little U, and then you can pull in there, and there'll be a way, and we'll see in a minute how they get to land. And he says, how can this be true? But oh God, if this is a dream, don't let me wake up. This is just wonderful. And the young mariner, is so happy. He's so happy. The harbor bay was clear as glass, so smoothly it was strewn, and on the bay the moonlight lay, and the shadow of the moon. He sees the harbor bay is smooth, and the moon is there, and it's the shadow of the moon is on the bay, and it's just gorgeous, and the mariner is so happy. The rock shone bright, the kirk no less, that stands above the rock, the moonlight steeped in silentness, the steady weathercock. The weathercock is a weather vane, and it's moving, it's still. I still feel breeze on my face, but the weathercock says there's no water, there's no wind, and the bay is silent and still, and everything is silent and still. And the bay was white with silent light, till rising from the same, full many shapes that shadows were, and crimson colors came. So crimson shadows are over the bay. A little distance from the prow, those crimson shadows were. I looked my eyes upon the deck. Oh Christ, what saw I there? So he looks at the deck and he sees crimson shadows fall over the deck. Well, what's causing these shadows? Each corpse lay flat, lifeless and flat, and by the holy rood, a man all light, a seraph man, on every corse there stood. So he looks to see what's causing these red shadows. And there's an angel standing beside each man. Now, we know that there were 200 men. So, of course, if each of the men has an angel standing beside him, there are 200 angels. That's a lot of angels. And they're standing there on the deck of the ship. So we have a pretty crowded deck, I'm thinking. This seraph band each waved his hand. It was a heavenly sight. They stood as signals to the land, each one a lovely light. So they're light, they're angels, they're creatures of light. This seraph band each waved his hand, no voice did they impart, no voice but oh, the silence sank like music on my heart. So even though this is a frightening sight, the mariner is overjoyed with it. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight. But soon I heard the dash of oars. I heard the pilot's cheer. My head was turned perforce away, and I saw a boat appear. Now, who's this pilot? Where did he come from? Well, if you live on the coast, a job you can have, something you can do for a living is you can get yourself a little boat that will go all the way to the sand, all the way to the shore. And you can, when you see a big ship come in, you can row out there and you can say, hey guys, I will row you from your big ship in my little ship to the shore for some money, like a taxi service. Like if you get to the airport and you need a taxi from the airport to your house. See? And it was a common thing. And these pilots, they would just wait for ships to come in and they would go out there and see who wanted to ride. So this pilot's going out there with his son and another passenger. We'll find out about in a minute. And he's expecting to see hundreds of people who need a ride from the ship back to shore. So he's going to give all these people, he's going to give these 4 or 5 people a ride, then row back, give 4 or 5 more people a ride, then row back, 4 or 5 more people a ride, row back and forth until he gives everybody a ride. He's going to make a lot of money. And that money will will sustain him and his family until the next big ship comes over. So here's this pilot, and the pilot goes, "Hey, the ship!" And the mariner looks at the pilot to see who's there. And the pilot and the pilot's boy, I heard them coming fast. Oh, dear Lord in heaven, it was a joy. The dead men could not blast. I'm really enjoying seeing these angels. But even more than I'm enjoying seeing these angels, I'm enjoying this pilot because I'm going to get on his boat, his little boat, and he's going to row me home, away from this ship and home to the shore where I can walk home ostensibly. I saw a third, I heard his voice. It is the hermit, good. He singeth loud his godly hymns that he makes in the wood. He'll shrive my soul, he'll wash away the albatross's blood. So we have a third person on the boat. Who is it? Well, it's a hermit. He's amazing grace. He's singing a hymn while he's on the boat, and the mariner either recognizes him or guesses, or I'm thinking he recognizes this is his home. He knows who lives here. He says, "That's the holy man. I am going to confess my sins to him, and he is going to pray with me, and I'm going to get even more forgiveness. I'm going to get forgiveness for my sins. I want to continue to pay penance." Just like the voices said, he's paid penance, but he'll continue to pay. He said, "I want to pay more penance for my sin. I'm so excited to see this holy man because he'll shrive my soul. He'll listen to my confession, and he'll help me to wash away the blood of the albatross." And that's where we're left. At the end of part 6, he's still on the ship. The angels are still on the ship. The corpses are still on the ship. We got quite a cliffhanger here, students. But don't worry. We are going to finish this poem in part 7. Okay. Thank you.